We're not seeing any grief here. We're not seeing what are called adapters, the things that we use to comfort ourselves, to self-soothe ourselves, like wringing of the hands, those kind of things. He's got these, what's supposed to be tears happening. That's not happening. He has no tissues there with him. His nose isn't running. He's trying to pretend it is, but it isn't. These are all the classic cues of someone who is faking an emotion. And if you'll notice, if someone's really feeling an emotion, that's what the emotions fire those expressions onto your face, in other words, from your brain, from your limbic system. And those don't last on him. We don't see grief. The little bit of grief that there's a semi-sadness that we see in there is taken away by a smile. And the smile is more prevalent than his grief is, or than his sadness is. This is one of those things that shows so many things that are wrong with it. I'm actually going to use this in training because these are all the classics right here, all of them.
Wow. You're going to use this in training. Holy Dinah.
Yeah.
There's something I read that you had mentioned about a forehead, like tells in the forehead. What's that about here in this video?
Well, quite often we get what is referred to as the grief muscle. It's sort of like an upside down horseshoe that happens right here in the glabella area of the forehead. And when you see that, I can't do it. You may be able to, I don't know. It only shows up when someone is actually feeling grief. They're remembering something very sad. They've just lost someone in their family, maybe a pet, and you'll see, or if they're in great pain, then you'll see the grief muscle show up. It shows up right there. We're seeing, and you could say, oh, this is Botox in his forehead and all that. He may have a little bit in there, but you would still see some movement up in here if he did that. I don't think he's feeling any grief here. We're not hearing it in his voice. His voice, he's under the impression when you're sad that your voice goes way high. Quite often it drops low and you can't speak. And when it's that high, it breaks too much. His voice is way too clean for this, way too clean for him to be as sad as he's saying that he is. Also, his arms are too far away from his torso. The one hand he's gesturing with, he's got one in his pocket, but notice you can see space in there. When we're sad, when we're trying to comfort ourselves, or someone is grieving like he's supposed to be, then you'll see the arms come close to the body. We're not seeing that at all. Not at all. Just his hand in his pocket, and he is swaying back and forth some because he thinks that's what he's supposed to do, but he's not doing it right. He's not doing the correct things he should be doing. That is an adapter, but he's not using his hands or his shoulders. His shoulders are too high. He's not bent over. So many things in this. I could go on for 30 minutes. I'll watch it.
I got a spidey sense about it, but you've just put so much of it into actual language that makes sense. I want you to watch the other thing that we collected for you. Okay. It's John Paul announcing to his congregation the death of his wife the day after it happened, but he does it at the very end of his sermon. So take a look at that, and then I want to get your thoughts on it after. Take a look.
All right.
I got a call late last night. My wife has passed away. And yeah, it was self-induced, and it was up in North Carolina. And we're going to have a funeral for her next Sunday here at 3 p.m. And so it's all I can, I'm just kind of going on adrenaline right now. So y'all pray for me and my kids and everybody. And y'all knew that she wasn't well mentally, and that she needed her medicine that was hard to get to her. And so I'm sure there'll be more details to come.
Okay, what do you make of that?
Again, we're not seeing things we should be seeing. No grief in the forehead, no grief in the face. His expression is blank. It's not sad. We're not hearing the low tone that we should be hearing. Before, we heard the thing where he's at the funeral all whiny and stuff, and his voice is really high. This is where he's trying to show emotion, and he's not really showing any emotion. Again, his arms are far away from his body. Why bring up his wife's medical, or not being able to get medicine during this? That's called a qualifier. He's qualifying what's happened to her. These are all this is so, it's horrible, but it's really good when you want to show someone the body language of what shouldn't be happening when someone's grieving.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider, and don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.